In this presentation, we'll give an outline of the course project that we'll be going through as we enter data into our accounting software. Get ready because we're dropping in with Wave. Here we are in our Get Great Guitars dashboard. Our project is going to consist of us importing 2 months of data from the bank transactions into the system. And then we're going to be creating the financial statements from that data. That includes the balance sheet and the income statement, the primary reports. We'll also discuss some other items as we do so, including items of us stepping away from an accrual basis method and thinking about things like invoices and accounts receivables and how that might work into the system. Then we'll go into the credit card information and think about how we can connect to a credit card in a similar fashion, the credit card institution, to have bank feeds related to them. Then we'll get into some more advanced options with regards to allocating rules to transactions that have been imported with the bank feeds. Now, we'll discuss the connection process, which is fairly straightforward to actually connect to the bank. That's generally going to be a fairly easy process, actually. The difficult part happens once those bank feed transactions come into the system, and then you need to allocate them into the system in a proper way to create the financial statements. And we're going to do that together by providing that information that we can work in a step-by-step process along with the software. So we will do that with actually a CSV file. So in other words, there's two ways you can get this information into the system. One is to directly connect with the bank. Then obviously that feed would come in directly. Two, you can import this information, and you can imagine this information being gotten from the bank. This may be necessary in practice oftentimes if, for example, you're trying to get an entire year's worth of data and you can't get that data by connecting to the bank because it only goes back so far. You may be able to get that information from the bank itself by downloading it in a file that can then be uploaded to the system, such as a spreadsheet format like a .csv type of file. What that will look like then, if you imagine your financial data, you're probably imagining, how am I going to create my financial data? Well, we might take our bank statement, which has our cash transactions here. We're going to got our cash transactions. Those are the things that are going to be imported. We want to import those into the system. And once in the system, then allocate them to make the financial statements from them. We can't do that with just a PDF of the bank statement, however, because the bank statement has a lot of other information. It's got the beginning balance and a bunch of other text that's not going to be ideal for us to import it into the system. So what we want is, in essence, the bank information, the bank statement information, but the individual transaction information. This is something that you can get from the bank feeds. You can also typically get it by going to the financial institution, your bank, online, and downloading that information as well. And you can get a specific amount of time that you would like to download. When we enter the first month of transactions, we often have a problem with this beginning balance because we may have the bank account already in place and we need a cutoff. We need to enter the data for the time period we want to cover, and then we'll have the beginning balance we'll have to deal with. So we'll talk about that as we enter this information. We will provide you with a CSV file, and this would be kind of like a mock file as if we downloaded this information from the bank and then uploaded it into the system. Once we upload this into the system, we'll basically be at the same point in time as if we had bank feeds or as if we uploaded the file. We'll be basically having those transactions kind of what I would call in limbo. They'll be in like Wave limbo. They'll be in the system, but they haven't been approved to actually be used to create the financial statements. We'll then go in there and pick that information up and think about kind of the difficult part of this process, which is to, once this information is in the system, allocate it to the financial statements. And we'll do that in a step-by-step process for 2 months. And you can work along with us by just importing this data file into the free accounting software and practice then allocating it out. And we'll check the financial statements to see what is happening to them each step along the way. After we do this, we'll do this with a credit card statement as well, so we can see how we can connect with a credit card statement. And then we'll talk about some more complex type of rules that we may be able to set up to make the process even easier, to make this process more and more automated and save more and more time, which would be the goal of the bank fee transactions. So that's it for now. Let's get out of here.